You know what? Let's circle back though and go with the things that you absolutely 100% will never get away from. And I think because I know the answer and I took it for granted, which is how you do things throughout the normal day.
Yeah.
Let's go into examples for people, because I don't think they understand.
Yeah.
Because I know it's how you get up from a chair. It's how you get off a couch. It's how you get up out of, how you sleep. So all those things. So let's go with the ones that you see through the seminars that you do and the people that you're consulting with, the number one thing that they're all fucking up.
So you have the people that are smart, intelligent people that have read the books, have read Back Mechanic, have read Gift of Injury, have read Stewart's Low Back Disorders and Ultimate Back, and they think they're smarter than they are. They think they're more proficient in the techniques than they are. So I'll ask them, so, okay, you have a bulging disc, you still have pain, you still have nerve stuff down your leg. How good, how pristine is your movement each day on a scale of 1 to 10? And then they'll tell me, oh, it's a 10, it's perfect, it's as good as it can be. And so then I'll have them sign the waiver on a countertop that's about like this tall, and they'll slouch over in flexion to sign it. I'll say, stop. Before you sign that, look at your posture right now. You're looking down, you're stooped over. Lower your hips down to the table instead of bending over. Use your hips. So it's really about using your hips. And it's about, in some ways, it's about creating the best positions for things that just aren't going to be comfortable for a big guy, like tying your shoes. Put them up in a chair, put them up on a bench and lunge into it, right? Golfers pickup, like the golfers grab the ball out of the hole after they drop it in there on a putt. They lean down on one leg, they pivot and drop the one leg back and grab it out, and there's nothing coming out of their spine. So between the squat, lowering the hips, lunging down into tying your shoe or putting it up on a chair and lunging in, and the golfer's pickup, those are the three movements that I do, whether it's taking out the trash, whether it's laying mulch in the yard, whether it's filling the dog food bowls, everything, it's important, and it's cumulative. And it isn't just about the dog food being 50 pounds or a cup of dog food that you're dropping in the bowl. It's about your load and your stress of your body and your body weight. It isn't just about what you're picking up. It's your body weight, every time, and the movements. And we call it picking the scab. No, it may not hurt. You may not feel it when you do it, but that flexion under load, you delaminate that annulus over and over, and you're creating the injury over and over and over until the disc is totally flattened. So that's one of the common things that I see. They think they're pristine, but they're really only about a 5 out of 10. Once I get them to clean up that other 50%, then they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize. And a lot of it is just the details matter so much because they think they're moving well, but they're not. So once I tighten up their McGill Big 3, where they're really stiffening the core 360 degrees, whenever I teach them how to really stiffen up with an abdominal brace when they're squatting, they realize, hey man, I wasn't really doing these things. I wasn't moving pristinely. I wasn't stiffening my core. I wasn't stiff when I was doing my carries. Once I can show them how it should feel both on me and on them, then they have the light switch go off and see, man, I really wasn't getting it. And getting people to get how important the little things are is very difficult. That's very hard.
I can see that because
Instagram and
things.
YouTube, people bastardize it. You know what I mean? They see, I saw the McGill 3, or I saw, the movement patterns this person was regurgitating that you and Stu have been talking about. I'm like, that's not it, man. And the McGill method is not about the McGill Big 3. The McGill Big 3 is just a 3-pronged system of attacking the core. McGill 3 is a whole process of coming to a precise diagnosis, removing the cause, and building pain-free capacity once again. That's what it's about. You're not building a healthy back just because you do the McGill Big 3. You can be contributing to a healthy back, but a lot of people think, oh, McGill Big 3, I don't need to do those stupid exercises, and then disregard it. Meanwhile, there's a book this thick on ultimate performance that he wrote concerning the spine. So there's a lot more to it than just a couple bullet points that you see online.
Yes, that's...
You pigeonhole people.
Yes.
You pigeonhole people just like me. Oh, Brian Carroll's the deload guy. No, that's not even what it's about. I don't give a shit if you deload or not, but at the end of the day, I like to stay ahead of the cumulative injuries, the cumulative fatigue. Mm-hmm. It's not just about the muscles and joints, it's about the bone. Bone takes a lot longer to heal than muscle tissue. So if you're creating micro trauma over and over, you're squatting 3 times a week, you're not letting your bones heal, vertebrae start breaking, you start having a bunch of stress fractures, and you wonder why. Well, when you've been going 100% 6 weeks in a row, you got to have adaptations where you load, then you back off and heal. You load, you back off and heal. And the same can be said for tendons too. When people get really strong, when they get on some super supplements, and next thing you know, their muscles are growing at such a rate, their tendons don't keep up, and then they blow things apart. So I think that's a good way. A lot of people think about the muscle component of it, the muscles needing to heal, but you got to think bone, especially with the spine.
I think that one of the misconceptions is maybe not a misconception, is a lot of people don't realize, putting that bar on the spine, to be able to squat, and even the shearing with a deadlift, and the bar in your hands when you bench, that's all compressing into the upper back and the neck, and all those things cumulative with a lot of heavy weight over a period of time, especially before a meet, it's getting pounded. Even with deloads, it's still getting pounded because it's cumulative. After the meet, there has to be time to let those fractures heal. And the stronger you are, you can support more weight, but that spine's still getting fucking trounced.
And that can be counterintuitive when you don't feel that the weight's heavy. Your 1,000-pound squatter, 650 or 700 pounds is 70%. Doesn't feel heavy. It's light. You could blow it out of the water and do it for 10 reps, but it's still loading a very potentially difficult, system, the spine, and can cause a lot of damage. You're still loading it. Even though it doesn't feel heavy, you're still compressing it. You're still requiring something out of that spine, and you got to let it rest and you got to let it heal. And, you talked about the people that can't take time off from lifting. Those are the people that are always going to have a back injury, and they think they're going to get a surgery, they're going to heal it, but they want to keep lifting. You've got to take time away. Oh, I'm just doing bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is a great way to stay injured for a long time and not get rehab done. Rehab has to be very specific to your goal, and especially with the spine, you shouldn't still bench press a lot of the time. You shouldn't be deadlifting light. You shouldn't be squatting light. You need to start over, let it desensitize, and slowly build with exercises that you need to build a core of iron and get rid of the patterns that have been hurting you.
I'm glad you said that, because I'll see a lot of people that will make notes and post and so forth about how they're unloading the spine, say it's after a meet or for whatever reason, and they'll stop squatting. But they're still benching, they're still deadlifting, they're still doing overhead dumbbell presses. They're still actually loading the spine, maybe even worse, with some of the movements they're doing, RDL, stiff legs, stuff like that. But they just think because the bar's on the spine with the squat, and that, it is a contributing factor. It needs to be taken out. But you're not doing what you're saying you're doing unless you completely unload that spine and do movement. If you're going to do movements, make sure they're movements that are not going to jack the spine all up. And there's movements you can do. There's a line lighter ones that you can do. Machines and shit are great for stuff like that. Because every negative of a machine becomes a positive. It stabilizes the spine, it stabilizes the joint. You can still work the muscle, doesn't need to be heavy. But just not squatting is not the end, because I'll see these nitwits that they won't squat, then they'll do god awful walking lunges with dumbbells, twisting and all kinds. Oh my god!
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.